Welcome to Resource PNG. This month, Sime Darby completed its acquisition of New Britain Palm Oil Limited in a deal estimated to be around 5.7 billion kina. A high-level delegation from Sime Darby was in the country to mark the beginning of this new partnership, as well as to visit the operations of NBPOL. Sime Darby Plantation, a subsidiary of Sime Darby has completed its acquisition of New Britain Palm Oil Limited. The purchase of NBPOL now brings Sime Darby Plantation's total worldwide land bank to almost 1 million hectares, spread out in 5 countries. A high-level delegation from both Sime Darby and NBPOL were recently in Port Moresby to mark day 1 of this new partnership. The acquisition of NBPOL was described as a homecoming of sorts, with Harrisons and Crossfield, the company which established NBPOL, also a part of the merger which created Sime Darby. According to Mod Bak Saleh, President and Group Chief Executive of Sime Darby, the acquisition of NBPOL now truly cements the position of Sime Darby as the world's biggest producer of certified sustainable palm oil. This, he says, is an exciting development for the Sime Darby Group. The acquisition of NBPOL is worth to be around £1.7 billion, that is 5.7 billion kina.
We are excited about this investment, and honestly speaking, I don't think there will be any problems, working together, integrating NBPOL, not at all, because we share common goals. I mean, from the word go, when we first met, Nick, I think the chemistry was right, and we knew that we can easily work together. And the contributions from both sides will certainly give that uplift to the Sime Darby business.
Over the next few months, Sime Darby will be focusing on integrating the operations of both companies. High on the agenda will be efforts by NBPOL and Sime Darby to continue its efforts in sustainability as part of its production. Furthermore, apart from the expansion of its upstream business in Papua New Guinea, NBPOL now also provides the opportunity for Sime Darby Plantations to grow its downstream operations in Europe. These sentiments were shared by Nick Thompson, CEO of New Britain Palm Oil Limited. Mr. Thompson also gave an overview of NBPOL's focus for 2015.
The focus here will be very much that we want to accelerate the growth programs that we already have in place, where we can, where we've already got permissions, we've already got the environmental impact studies and all the social impact studies, and a lot of that groundwork has already been done. Obviously, we still there's an undertaking by Sime Darby that the sugar industry here will continue to provide domestic sugar requirements for Papua New Guinea. We're growing the cattle business here in Papua New Guinea through the Ramu business. We are the largest beef producer in Papua New Guinea, and yet there's still about half or over half of Papua New Guinea's beef is still imported from Australia and other regions. So there's still a lot of work to do for Papua New Guinea to be self-sufficient in beef. So that's a huge growth area, and we will be looking at lots of opportunities here to develop the business. Obviously, there's going to be hopefully some leverage from the technology that Sime Darby have in Malaysia, and whether we can implement that here. Equally, there will be things in here that we can leverage in Malaysia and Indonesia. So there will be time spent basically looking at all of those opportunities that arise. Basically, I think it gives us huge opportunities in terms of, I'm talking about Papua New Guinean training, access to training facilities which Sime Darby have, and all of that in terms of giving our people here quite an exciting future.
Much of the operations of New Britain Palm Oil Limited are centred in West New Britain province. Undoubtedly, the province has long been reliant on funds from its shares within NBPOL. These funds have assisted the provincial government to carry out its impact projects in its districts and local level governments. West New Britain Governor Sasindran Muthuvel, whilst supporting the acquisition of NBPOL by Sime Darby, says the acquisition could have been handled differently.
Because this is our province, we take pride in, bringing whatever developments. We even tell all the development stakeholders, we are willing to put kina to kina, whether it's OCAID or ADB or anything, whoever want to develop West New Britain, we want to partnership with them. And we are not even saying that we want to hold that project. We are willing to give the money to those responsible organizations and them to execute or implement those projects. So that is where we are forced to make this decision, and it was a properly calculated, researched, thoroughly debated decision to offload these shares purely in the interest of people of West New Britain. And I have no kind of remorse or bad feelings about these particular things, because I feel we have done a right thing by doing this one. Assuming if we do not accept and we still remain, and what will happen to the future of my people in West New Britain? Will they be able to generate that kind of revenue which now we are forecasting 30 to 40 million kina? The main purpose or core purpose of our trust is only to bring socio-economic development to the residents of West New Britain province. So the national government is fully supported us for us to make this decision, because they know what will be the consequences if we do not make some of important decisions, and we might remain as a very minority shareholder, which will not give any power for us to negotiate anything.
With Sime Darby as the new owners of NBPOL, the oil palm industry in Papua New Guinea is set to see changes. These are indeed exciting times for the palm oil industry in Papua New Guinea. Welcome back to Resource PNG. Rice has become a staple in most households in Papua New Guinea. We now take a look at an exciting new project that is aimed at producing this commodity on a large scale, the Gabadi Pilot Hybrid Rice Project. Rice has become a convenient and nutritious dietary staple. Rice competes successfully with more easily grown local food such as sweet potato and other root crops because it stores well, requires little water or fuel to cook, and provides a satisfying and tasty basis for a variety of family meals. In many households throughout Papua New Guinea, no meal is complete without rice. Much of the rice that makes its way to the table comes from abroad. However, in recent years, various organizations have embarked on growing rice right here in Papua New Guinea. Village Garden Limited is one such company. Earlier this month, A historic milestone was achieved with the first harvest of hybrid rice in Gabadi, Central Province. Village Garden Limited was instrumental in providing the technical expertise and infrastructure for the Gabadi pilot hybrid rice project.
We have the money, we can grow rice, we can produce rice, and we can become the rice exporting country to other Asians as well. And imagine importing rice into country in Papua New Guinea, spending 700 million is not funny to us. Papua New Guinea have the necessity elements like in terms of temperature, in terms of weather, in terms of humidity, and the water ratio. He confirmed today that yes, Papua New Guinea can grow rice in terms of commercialization. We used to do rice in the country on small scale whole, but we never tested a commercial program in the country, and this is the first of its kind.
At Gabadi, 3 types of rice are being trialled: SL8, SL12 and SL18. The pilot plot, which is 1 hectare wide, is expected to yield 10,000 kilograms of rice. The project also uses the irrigation system using 4 water pumps set up near the river. Furthermore, a harvester has been purchased for the harvest process.
And this irrigation system have never been applied in the country before, not even in Philippines. Using these varieties of the Philippines are very closely monitoring this progress of the rice in the country, and they want to testify whether this irrigation system can be working so suitable in country like Papua New Guinea, where we have lots of sun and we have lots of water as well. So the variety itself is good for the tropical country.
Rice harvested from the project will be taken to Pacific Adventist University, where there is a processing plant. The rice will then be packaged under the brand VG Super Rice and distributed to shops around the country. You're watching Resource PNG. Exxon Mobil recently released its energy outlook. This report offers important perspectives about the factors that will drive the world's energy needs in the coming decades. Rob Gardner, Exxon Mobil Manager for Energy and Economics Division in Exxon Mobil's Corporate Strategic Planning Division, was in the country to present this report. Exxon Mobil has released a report which it says offers important perspectives about the factors that will drive the world's energy needs in the coming decades. Rob Gardner, Manager for Energy and Economics Division in Exxon Mobil's Corporate Strategic Planning Department, was in Papua New Guinea to give an overview of this report to members of the business community. Also present were members of the energy sector, a sector that has seen and is continuing to see growth in PNG. The report, ExxonMobil's Outlook for Energy, offers important perspectives about the factors that will drive the world's energy needs in the coming decades. The report has been developed to help individuals, businesses and governments to better understand the elements that shape future energy supply and demand around the world, and is essential to aid investments and create effective energy policy.
It is a really important undertaking for us. We spend basically all year doing it. Right now we're working on our economic forecast for the upcoming outlook, which won't be released until December. And it's important for us as a corporation to do the outlook, because what we're really trying to assess is a reasoned view of the future. And it has to be far enough in the future that we can see it covering a period of time in which new investments we make now will be operating. Many of our projects run for decades, and it's important that we capture that window, and that's one of the reasons we have to take a guess so far into the future. And so we like to look at it as an important investment in time and effort to help us understand the business, but also things that might change.
The report is also being used by ExxonMobil to guide the company's investments which support its business strategy. This report covers the period up until 2040 and will be updated each year. Among key projections in the report, rapidly developing countries will represent 70% of global energy demand by 2040. Natural gas is expected to be the fastest growing major fuel source by 2040 as demand increases by 65%. Half of that increase will come from the Asia-Pacific region led by China. By 2040, natural gas is expected to account for more than a quarter of global energy use, surpassing coal in the overall mix. Rising natural gas demand will be met with abundant new supplies and significant expansion in trade as unconventional gas production nearly quadruples and LNG trade triples by 2040. Papua New Guinea is an important contributor to regional LNG supplies. And in Asia-Pacific, gas production will double by 2040. Demand in the region is expected to climb by about 170%, and as a result, Asia-Pacific will likely overtake Europe as the world's largest gas importer. Now, what does this mean for Papua New Guinea?
What you see is a migration and a shift of energy demand away from what has been the more mature economies, which have driven it early on, to a much bigger footprint in developing economies. Put that in context of that change in economic growth that I showed you on the very first slide of economics, and how half of the world output is going to be driven by the developing economies, and you see what's going on.
And that's all we have for you on this episode of Resource PNG. If you want to know more about the program, email us on this address, resourcepng@mtv.com.pg, or you can go to www.mtv.com.pg, where you will find a link to the Resource PNG page. Until the next time, pleasant viewing.